All right, welcome back everyone to the On Track video cast. And today we have something really special that I'm excited about. Something that I feel like I don't talk about enough because it's this huge missing piece in your journey to better health that is not talked about enough. And it is kind of about your subconscious mind and what it has to do with healing your body and the emotions that we trap inside our bodies that are getting in the way of us living the life that we really want. And to help me today with that, I have the expert. Dr. Darren Weissman is a chiropractic holistic physician, developer of the Lifeline technique, and best-selling author of The Power of Infinite Love and Gratitude, Awakening to the Secret Code of Your Mind, The Heart of the Matter, and his children's book, The Daily Lessons of Infinite Love and Gratitude. Darren is an international speaker in the field of consciousness. He has been featured in the films Emotion, which is where I found him, Making Mankind, Beyond Belief, and the award-winning documentary Heal. His passion is teaching people how to intentionally change the emotional programs of the subconscious mind. As a natural byproduct, clients directly enhance their bodies and relationships' natural potential to heal and thrive. Welcome, Darren.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thanks for having me.
It's quite like the mouthful of introduction that I just gave you. There was even more. That was like the short bio, which I shortened
Oh,
even more. So you're you're a man of many faces, it sounds like.
I'm just a bit passionate about what I do for a living, so I'm excited to share it with your listeners.
Yes. And so it wasn't, you started out as a chiropractor, which I think is really cool. And I would love to hear that story to start, is how from going from, cracking the bones to this kind of whole different energetic side of things. Like, how did you discover this new technique through that, or did you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it actually started before chiropractic. I was doing pre-med courses in my undergrad, and I didn't know what chiropractic was at 19 years of age. I'd never been to one. Holistic medicine was not the route of our family. We were a pill-popping family eating Wonder Bread and sugared cereal with scoops of sugar on top of it. That was my upbringing. And I was a sick kid. And so, as a result of my own struggles, I thought I really would love to make a difference for other children. And my only route was medicine. And so I was studying pre-med, not really feeling cold in my heart because I knew that there was something more inside, but I didn't know what that inside thing was. And then chiropractic became the avenue, the doorway that opened my heart to the concept of our natural ability is to heal. Our natural ability is that we have inside of us an energy that enables our cells, organs, glands, and systems to communicate. And from a chiropractic point of view, when the nervous system is in proper alignment, things begin to do what they're designed to do. And along the way, just the universe kept on winking at me and just saying, here's acupuncture. And I met a guy named Dr. Weissman, who's an MD chiropractor and an acupuncturist. And I started studying with him. And then, I met another gentleman, Lord Pandit Professor Sir Dr. Anton Jayasuriya, and he runs a hospital in Kalabawila Hospital in Colombo, Sri Lanka. And I went over and studied there for years. And I met Yu Hairo in Beijing, and I went and studied there. And I meet these kinesiologists and start studying applied kinesiology, all these different systems, neurolinguistic programming for our mind, EMDR, trauma, emotions, and neuroemotional technique, all these things. I went nuts with it. It's like once the floodgate was open, there was no stopping this guy over here. So it's been really exciting. And then long story short, I always thought, why do I have to keep adjusting C1? Why does this, right? Like, why does this acupuncture pattern not hold? Why do I need this belladonna homeopathic remedy? Again, there's the weakness. How come I'm deficient in this calcium? ... And so my mind just kept on going back and back. And I got to this place of, I knew it was emotion, but it was more than emotion. It's consciousness. It's awareness. It's perception. And I had this moment on June 17th, 2002. So this past June 17th was my Sweet 16, where I saw how everything I had studied with everyone I'd studied with come together in a lightning bolt moment that my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and we have 3 children, I yelled to her, I said, babe, get me a pen and paper, because I saw it. And there's a whole story within that, but I'm not going to go into it. But as far as what led to that, but ultimately I saw an image of designs, words, all these things that I'd studied come together in this flowchart way, and I wrote it out in about 40 minutes, and it was that.
Right.
It was that. It's the Lifeline Technique flowchart, which is a blueprint, a roadmap for the subconscious mind.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
So cool. And I immediately knew how to do it.
And I knew going into all your stuff and your information before this talk, I knew that however this came to you, it was like that. I'm like, I bet money that this guy just had a moment where it freaking downloaded. And he knew what to do. This technique that you developed, I just knew it.
I went through the veil and just boom. And it was so intense. It was absolutely intense, because one moment I'm doing all these unique things, which is fun as a holistically trained chiro, but then all of a sudden I'm going, infinite love and gratitude. And people are looking at me going, what is up with you? You've lost your freaking rocker. But person after person, proof is in the pudding. Either it works or it's BS. Bottom line is I'm 16 years later, and it's in 24 countries around the world. And I've really educated and helped a lot of people on how to shift those reactive patterns that affect our perception of ourselves and the world around us and what we attract. And ultimately, Karen, what's super cool is that it's a new model of understanding the role that symptoms, disease, stressful patterns that we get stuck and struggle in, what they really represent. That rather than a healthcare system that's not about healthcare, it's a sickness care system. It's about making things go away. Wait a second. What if there was meaning in the symptoms, the disease, the diabetes, the obesity? What if there was meaning in the anxiety, the depression, the obsession, the compulsion, the addiction? What if there was meaning? There is meaning. Of course there is. But
of course there is.
How do I get to it? And that's the dance.
It is the dance. And I think for each person, there might be something that's going to work for one person that doesn't for another. And I was a rolfer for 16 years, which I'm sure you know what that is. So it's like really deep tissue, body realignment. And the woman that developed it, Ida Rolf, she believed that, these deep emotions that we don't express in life get buried in deep tissue, in deep muscle tissue. And the way to get it out was to basically, you worked on it in a deep fashion to release those emotions out of the body. And I remember witnessing this over and over and over for 16 years of these people that would start bawling their eyes out on my table. And I've heard of people doing it in yoga. I've heard of people happening it in chiropractics. So can you explain a little bit of what is happening there with the subconscious? Why is it that it can get trapped in the body? Because it sounds woo-woo to somebody that doesn't know what we're talking about. They're going to be like, what are you guys even talking about? My back pain is because I pulled it, or my obesity is because I can't stop eating, or, people have their excuses that they've got from their doctors, their nutritionists, from whoever. But not too many people say, oh, this is maybe because of an emotion.
Yeah. Well, we've got to step back just a bit. It's such a beautiful question. At the essence of who we are is energy. We are light. We are energy. We are composed of photons of light that travel in waves and particles. That is the fabric of the universe. No one's making that up right now. That's not woo. That is just real deal. That's who we are.
That's the science.
Core level. So, based upon that, We have throughout our life, every moment that we experience, like right now, this moment, such a beautiful moment, we're creating memories. We're always creating memories. Every moment, things come in through our eyes and our ears. We smell, we taste, we touch, we feel, we experience life. And in that experience, it goes into certain aspects of our nervous system. And the nervous system creates, check, a short-term memory. And all the sensory data of that memory are downloaded into the nervous system. And when we go to bed at night, the purpose of going through the states of sleep, the REM, rapid eye movement states of sleep, is very similar to, I'm going to press a save button on my computer. We get to download the information so that it gets integrated from short-term memory into long-term memory. And as a result, these parts of our brain that are short-term, which is a limbic part of our brain, it's the emotional part of the brain that gets it in the moment, and the reptilian part of the brain that then ultimately just keeps all our body parts functioning. That part's short-term, but at night, here we are, we're having a rapid eye movement, we're downloading this into long-term. Here it comes into the third part of the brain, the neocortex, and now we've learned something. We've healed something, we've evolved, we've become the next best version of ourselves. From day to day, that's the journey of life, is we're doing our best to become the next best expression of ourselves. What happens though, is along the way in our life, and especially in the earlier points in our life, conception to 7 especially, the cement of the mind is very wet. And what I mean is it's impressionable. Everything that goes on in our life, the memories that are being created, they don't have any stopgaps. They just come on in. So every aspect of our relationships, mom and dad and everything that goes along with our life, it goes into our nervous system. And our system is creating memories, and it's growing and healing very quickly. The first year, it's insane, right? So much change and evolution occurs. What happens is when there are particular moments where we do not have the ability to process the emotions of the environment, not only do we not have the ability to process the emotions, and I'll explain what process means in just a bit, but when we don't have the ability to process the emotions and our environment doesn't know what they don't know, can't give what they can't give, they don't know how to process their emotions with high self-esteem, with self-love, with authentic communication, with trusting intuition, with being connected to our faith, being rooted in family, community. When they don't have the ability to process emotions either, the subconscious mind does something fantastic and interesting. And what it does is it protects. Now, the nature of the subconscious mind is the protective mind in every way. We can all, recognize, like, ooh, I touch a flame, I move my hand. So there's a physical protection. There's an emotional protection of, like, I'm around somebody and I don't trust it. My spidey senses are being triggered off and I'm like, I don't feel good about you. I don't like your joss. I don't know what it is about you, but I don't believe a word that you're saying. There's an emotional protection, but there's also a deeper, what I call a spirit protection reflex. And a spirit protection reflex, it's actually step number 6 in the Lifeline technique. The spirit protection reflex is where I don't have the consciousness to process this memory, this moment. My environment doesn't either. The subconscious mind goes like this. Takes inventory of all the sensory data, but because no one and it stores it in short-term memory, but because no one has the ability to process and move through it, when it comes to sleeping, we're not able to go through the deep states of REM sleep. So the short-term memory stays short-term. The limbic reptilian stays limbic reptilian. It does not become neocortical. And therefore, we did not evolve into the next greatest version of ourselves. We stayed the same. Meanwhile, our body continues to grow. We begin to continue on in life. And here I am. It started at 3. Parents were going through a divorce. There's alcoholism, addiction. Here's something going on where, there's anger and anxiety and out of controlness in the environment. That vibrational frequency is alive. It's an energy field, and it's downloaded in my limbic emotional brain. Now, here I am. I'm 50. And 47 years later, and I see the right color. I smell the right scents. I get triggered by the right sound, and the 3-year young part of me gets activated as if I was 3 for the first time. Again, and again. And I keep repeating that pattern, because what happens is the subconscious mind backs up 1 millisecond, and it programs us to forget it. And it enables us to, it almost like puts this energetic vortex around us so that we can move through the emotion, but we don't process it. But at some point, that emotion has to be processed for us to evolve into the next greatest version of ourselves. So here I am at 20, and I've got this relationship in college, and and I get caught in this addiction, or this happens. And here I am at 35, and this is going on in my job and in my marriage, and there's these patterns are in motion, but we can't see them, we can't feel them, we can't hear them. They're subconscious. They're buried below the surface. They're invisible, but they show up. And so the essence of this, because our brain and our body are not designed to know the difference between memories, reality, or imagination, for that matter, Karen, what happens is, we get triggered, and now the 3-year-old is struggling with food addiction and weight challenges and autoimmune disease and allergies, and I've got this rash that, for whatever freaking reason, it won't go away, and all these different things are going on. And I've taken this pill, and I've used this cream, and I've taken this supplement, I've done chiropractic, and I've needled myself, and it doesn't last. The key is, when we have the ability to get to that memory that's emotionally charged, that is affecting how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive the world, how my body's not adapting in the moment. My body's maladapting because I got a 3-year-old behind the wheel. So the Lifeline process is all about getting to that emotionally charged memory that's ultimately influencing my biology, my behavior. It enables us in a step-by-step fashion to raise its consciousness. And when we do, infinite love and gratitude, things change in an extraordinary way.
Wow. That's a lot, and I love it. Thank you so much for that description. It's exactly what I was looking for you to do, of course. Now, when it comes to, because a lot of people will say, well, I've done the talk therapy, I've seen a psychologist or a counselor. And I remember going through that piece in my own life where I knew that I had some stuff to deal with. And I came to that point where I thought, holy, look at these patterns repeating themselves over and over in my life. And I was able to finally recognize, wow, if I don't get to the bottom of that emotional root cause of this happening, I didn't say it like that at the time, but it was like, man, if I don't clear out this crap in my life, this is going to keep happening. I'm going to keep drawing the same scenario and attracting the same scenario into my life over and over again. And I knew I had to get to the root cause. And going through therapy, like I first went and did the conventional counseling, and it was amazing. It was great, but I didn't really feel like it got rid of it on a energetic level in my body. And I was obviously, because I did body work, I was very in tune with it. And I ended up actually seeing a woman that did energy work, and she did some they applied kinesiology, and she's clairvoyant. And anyways, that ended up kind of being what got me to release all of this deep-seated emotion. So can you tell us a little bit about the difference there? Like, is it important to get the energy stuff done and the talk therapy maybe? I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
My brother is a psychologist, a PsyD. He specializes in trauma and obsessive compulsive disorder. And he's certified in the Lifeline technique. So the essence of it, talk therapy is great to become aware, but it does not create change on a subconscious level. It does not create change on a subconscious level. So it's great if you got somebody who's actually very versed in, conscious dialogue and helping people to become aware of themselves and then can guide them through a process, then that becomes really phenomenal. There's incredible systems out there. EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, helps people to, really create massive change when there's trauma. And, EMDR is a part of the Lifeline. The challenge with EMDR is there's what's called abreaction. Abreaction is a lot of times people relive the trauma. And Lifeline, they don't. You don't have to. It's not therapy. It's very therapeutic. And here's the thing, and I want to actually just be like semantical with you. It's not about clearing anything or releasing anything. It's not about healing anyone, but a lot of releasing, clearing, and healing occurs. So then the next logical question is, what is it about?
Yeah.
It's about raising our consciousness. It's about being who we are. And there's a process to get there. The subconscious mind's intelligence is 7 times faster than our best ninja trained conscious self. So you and I can be like the ultimate meditators. I'm into pranayama. I am in my power. I do all kinds of things. Guess what? Your subconscious mind will be 7 times faster than that. So, oftentimes we look at something, it's like, just let me clear it, let me get it away. Once I'm done with this, now I can live happily ever after. And that's based upon the medical model that looks at something as a problem. And I encourage you and everyone to shift that as best as you can. And from now on, call the problems in your life portals. Think about what a portal is. It's a doorway. It's an opening to a new place. What's that new place? The next best version of you, of how you think about yourself and the world, how you feel, how you heal, how you speak, your relationships, your future, the next greatest version. So when we can begin with that, and that's a big learning curve. Like, wait a second, I've got stage 4 cancer. No, there's been massive trauma, loss that's shocking, PTSD. I'll give you a portal, Dr. Darren. You don't know what that you're talking about. I'm not naive. It's not about denying pain, fear, and stress. I've got plenty of it. I'll raise my hand first. But that pain, fear, and stress is meaningful. There's a feedback. There's an intelligence. And when attempting to communicate with the subconscious, it's kind of like dancing with an invisible partner. It's like, how do you do that? How do you understand it? It's like, I've got all these symptoms. I've got this disease. I've got these stressful patterns of emotion. And, we ultimately end up judging ourselves for it. I'm a failure. I want to fight it. I want to fix it. I want to figure it out. No, this is a dialogue. Your body and your life, your relationships, speak your mind. The purest reflection. Everything, not a lot, not most, everything comes from your mind. Everything does. So, oftentimes based upon, I judge a book by its cover, I only know the tip of the iceberg. So, hey, I'll just ride this big ship right next to it and there goes the Titanic. Oftentimes, we're attempting to have a conversation with our body, but we don't speak the same language. We don't speak the same language. You're in a country that you don't speak the language and you got to find the bathroom. That sucks, right? So learn a couple languages, a couple of words so that you can start to create a change. Everything's energy. This right here, it means I love you. It means I love you in American Sign Language. And when we combine it with the words infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude, and go ahead and just say that. Just go, infinite love and gratitude.
Infinite love and gratitude.
It becomes a universal healing frequency. And that's what we use as we're muscle testing along the way to begin to discover not only where these reactive patterns are, but based upon a process of manifestation through setting intention, we raise the vibration to our highest self. And it's a process. And obviously, I mean, look at that. It's detailed. It's intricate. But it's something that anyone truly can learn how to do. I teach it in a Lifeline certification program course. And, you know, a lot of people are like, I want to do this to help other people. And I always, even if I'm working with the most advanced practitioners, doctors, people that have been doing this for years, I tell them, this is not for other people. This is for you. This is so that you have self-mastery, so that no matter what happens in your life, what's going on in your family, what kind of circumstances where we get those calls and they're horrible and we all go through them, can you be present there? Can you process emotions with love there? That's what learning the Lifeline's all about. And for some people, they're like, yeah, now that I know this for myself, I'm for sure going to help other people with it. But this is a journey of learning how to really create a new relationship, an authentic, genuine relationship with the deepest truth that lives within us.
Wow. And how does it affect, like, getting to this place and unveiling what's going on inside our bodies? How does it help with things like law of attraction and just living, like bringing in those things that you want to bring in into your life? Because when you've got energy that's maybe not the greatest inside the body and we're attracting that energy, which is the theory of law of attraction, I would say that it could probably really help that.
Well, it's one and the same. It's just on a much deeper level, in the sense that we're working from a subconscious point of view. And if we look at the nature of consciousness, okay, I'm going to say an affirmation. I'm going to do a vision board. I'm going to, really visualize, feel it, hear it, smell it. Great. That's amazing. I'm working on a conscious level. The conscious mind is 2 to 10% of our mind. The conscious mind's the only mind that can choose. So I always find that fascinating. 2 to 10%.
I think that's fascinating. Yeah.
Has the ability to choose. So the other 90 to 98% subconscious, there's no choice with it. When it gets triggered, it goes. I mean, the subconscious mind orchestrates every one of the 100 trillion cells in our body. The subconscious mind stores memories so that we can process them. So the key is, because we're working on a subconscious level and you're consciously involved with understanding the law of attraction, you get the conscious and subconscious aligned in the present moment. You are talking about a laser type of vibration. You're talking about a coherent field between the heart and the mind. And that is powerful. It's a heart-based system. People, I find, in our world today, the biggest struggle, the greatest challenge is one thing, and that is being able to process our emotions. Being able, like, the most important thing that anyone could ever learn to do for themselves that will create dividends for the rest of your life is how to intentionally process emotions. I know that if everyone knew how to process their emotions, intentionally in the world, that we would already have world peace. It would be a no-brainer. If you knew how to process your emotions, you would see yourself, feel yourself, hear yourself, you'd be a different person.
When you say process emotions, I remember talking to this one guy and he was like, you're the thinker of your thoughts. And so just change your thoughts, or change how you can change how you feel in any given moment. So was that the same as processing your emotions, or is it different when you say process? Yeah, I didn't think so.
It isn't. It really isn't. It's tell that to someone who's in the addictive mode.
Right.
They're on crack, they're on heroin, Tell that to somebody where it's 11 o'clock at night. The refrigerator has called them. They're standing in front of it. Inside, they're going, no, don't. And then boom. And then they can't stop. And then then they're like, why did I do it again? Why did I do it again? Talk to somebody who's in that obsessive compulsive mind. It isn't. Sometimes we do have an ability to gain a bird's eye view of something and go, yeah, this thought's not serving me. This feeling's not serving me. But in the moment when the reaction is in motion, there is no choice. The subconscious mind, as I said, is 7 times faster than your best ninja trained self. So you can be the ultimate at, the law of attraction. And I know that this is possible. I'm sorry. That's great to understand, but you need to learn how to, if you want to make a change on a subconscious level, how to create a relationship with the subconscious. So how do I do that? So I use muscle testing. So
yes.
You can self-muscle test. You can self-muscle test, or I can muscle test someone else to communicate with the subconscious mind. So here's my arm, I've got it in, and I feel that I got a lockout. Muscle just locks out. So I just want to show you something. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's locked.
I love muscle testing. And a lot of people who don't know what it is, this muscle testing really works. It sounds a little bit like, but it does. Yeah. I can't do it to myself. I have a hard time. I think I get too involved.
That's because you're in your head, not in your heart. So the key is, the first thing that you want to do is you want to get what's called a 0 point. So the 0 point is where the muscle locks into place. So I got my elbow in, it's at 90 degrees. I don't have a chicken wing out here. I got it in close. And I imagine I've got a bucket and it's filled with a puppy, right? So I got a puppy in there. So there's, they're not very heavy, but I got to hold on. I don't want to drop the puppy. So I've got some tension here. You can see it. My muscle, locks in. And I put my hand on the bent wrist, not too far up, not too far down. And I tell myself, hold strong. Now I'm going to push down slow, steady, and confident, like I'm pushing down on a gas pedal. And the speed limit is 30. Okay. So I'm not going to go to 60. I'm not going to go to 90. I'm not going to be like raging on it, right? Elbows in. I say, hold strong. I push down. There's 30. And I hold it there for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then I let go suddenly. And my arm juts up like a springboard for like a diving board. Elbow in. This is the first part of understanding what's called a lockout. If you can't get a lockout, you'll never get a good reflex. So there it is. Hold strong. 1, 2, 3. I let go. Arm juts up. Now, so many things, Karen, trigger us. So many things trigger us. Our mom, our dad, our siblings, our work, money, intimacy, change, whatever it might be. So many things trigger us. So there's one way to really evaluate what a reflex in a muscle test feels like. So I'm going to go love, love, love. There's an energy. I'm going to feel the word. Love, love, love. Hold strong. Locks into place. Now I'm going to go fear, fear, fear. I'm going to feel this word. Fear, fear, fear. Hold strong. Come on, dear. Hold strong. Hold strong. I'm going to finish with love. Love, love, love. Elbow in. Hold strong. Locks into place. Now it's interesting because as you're watching, it's so much easier if I had somebody with me right here.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If I'm doing with somebody. But the reality is that you can. The challenge with first learning it is people are going to get caught in their head. Do I have it? Do I have it? As soon as you think you have it, you don't have it. It's there. And ultimately learning how to muscle reflex test in of itself is very healing because it gets you in your heart space.
Right.
Gets
you out of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Longest journey.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And so you can do some muscle, what would you use it for then?
I run Lifeline sessions with myself every day.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, whoa, should I use it to figure out what I should eat or what I shouldn't eat or, who I eat or what lottery numbers I should pick? No, you shouldn't. You should make your own dang decisions for your life and learn how to trust your intuition because you are amazing and you have greatness in you, and you've been blocking off your intuition and denying it for so long. And you got to learn to discover that there's something inside of you guiding you. So we do not use, I'll say what not, then I'll say what is. We do not use muscle testing to decide things for us. What we use it is to see, am I being triggered? What triggers me into reaction? Who triggers me? Where do I go? And then I become emotionally reactive, stuck, struggling, stressed. What does it take? And now I'm in the tipping point. And now I'm like at the point of no return, and I become the worst expression of myself. I use it to find those places, and where I become reactive, I harmonize. And I go through this process and I raise the consciousness. And now whatever, whoever, wherever it's been that I've been triggered, now it can't trigger me anymore. And I want you to just imagine something. I want you to imagine you in your life where you couldn't be triggered by that person, by that situation. It didn't matter what they said, the tone of their voice, the look in their eye. It didn't matter what was going on or not going on, that you had the ability to be in your power. What kind of difference would that make in your life? Boom. Where you could just be you, capital Y-O-U. That's what life is all about. But we've got these programs that are buried in our subconscious mind, these core limiting beliefs, these memories that are emotionally charged. And they're speaking to us and through us. And they're saying, hey, Karen, hey, everyone, wake up. You are beautiful. You are amazing. You are abundant in every way. Own it. Except it looks like I got this chronic neck pain. That's how it's saying it. Oh, it looks like this digestive irritable bowel. It looks like I'm struggling in these relationships and da-da-da-da-da-da. That's the gift and strain trapping paper. That's the secret code of the mind, right?
Right. Yes. And so somebody was trying to figure out, let's say their eating disorder, what emotion was triggering that. Would you use it for that too? Like
yes.
where you
and
would
it's not one singular thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I do one Lifeline and then I live happily ever after.
I wish.
We're talking about generational patterns, full lifetime patterns, past lifetime patterns that live in us, that influence us in epic ways. The Lifeline, different, because this is the cool thing. I'm going to bridge it to the beginning of it. I started going pre-med. And so it never fit me. I don't have anything against it, but it didn't fit me. So this, I'll say what isn't. This is not to make anything go away. This is about to create a relationship and raise consciousness. Eating disorder is a conversation. So it's not like, oh, I do one session, I process this emotion. Will I no longer have an eating disorder? I don't know, maybe not. I've had insane things happen with people. But when I work with people, what I usually do is I'll bring them through a series of 5 sessions. The 5th session, do a scenic overview, a reevaluation. So you can go, hey, I started on this day in August and here I am sometime in October, and this is what's completely different. Here's things that are still somewhat similar. Here's things that are new. Because when we change, things evolve and things come through, and then there's different stressors, and so different portals. So it's a process, and ultimately, to me, what I've come to appreciate, really value, is to empower people with tools, not just knowledge, but like, oh, this is what it is. There's a law of attraction, or there's this psychoneuroimmunology that my thoughts affect my body. To me, I'm done with all the knowledge. There's so much knowledge. I want application. I want something that can truly help someone change in their lives so it becomes sustainable, it becomes a practice. We're so caught in this perfectionism and, in this instant gratification. And if we could just somehow learn a practice of self-love, a practice of processing our emotions, of being present, man, it's so beautiful. And, it's simply said, it's not easily done. I'm not being naive once again. We've got 3 kids. We go through experiences and different things like that, but I use the tool, I live it, and I'm grateful for it. It's helped me change in an amazing way. I got an email earlier this week, and this woman started working with me, massive depression. Like, I'm off the planet depression. I'm done with my life. I was recommended to you. I think you're full of shit, Darren.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a go because this is my last thing. And I'm no one's last thing. I always say that. But I always tell people whenever they're struggling, you get your dream team together, right? You get yourself surrounded by people that are, that are going to love you and support you as you go through whatever physical, mental, spiritual challenge that you're going through. The role that I'll play is I'm going to be your subconscious guy. The role that a certified Lifeline practitioner person, they're going to be your subconscious person, because then you can get that part of you that makes up 90 to 98%, that controls the physiology, that enables your memory to become long-term. So 3 sessions working with this woman, she sent me an email, and she's like, Dr. Darren, I feel so much joy. I feel so light. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I was just tears of gratitude. I'm just like, and I get these all the time, so I'm so grateful. But it was just like, wow, so many people are killing themselves. So many people are hurting themselves. Our world is in such a tragic place, and it's because we don't yet know how to take what we know and apply it. And some people don't even know. So sometimes, so if you might not know, and this is like, whoa, do some investigation, start to check it out, see if it resonates with your heart, but just keep moving forward, and you're beautiful and you're worth it. And you'll end up finding the gift in strange wrapping paper that you're going through, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I think it's just the largest missing piece in our healthcare right now. And I know, just working with thousands of women that I've worked with in the last couple of years, it's the biggest and hardest piece for them to wrap their heads around. And I try to tell everybody, like, you have to figure this stuff out, the subconscious stuff. You have to figure out the brain stuff that's going on.
How do you figure it out?
How?
Yeah. How do you figure out the subconscious?
Oh, I have different techniques that I've learned, but I don't know the Lifeline technique.
I mean, here's just my take on it. And I'm not to be combative in any way, but just to create a dialogue that's truly just in the moment. But what I've come to figure out is that we can't figure out the subconscious. The fact is that if we actually knew what was in the subconscious, it wouldn't be subconscious.
Right.
As soon as we're aware of what it is, it's not. And as soon as we're aware of what it is, I make the change. And so, oftentimes it's like, figure it out, fight it. All right, let me figure out how to fix it. Let me think about that. No, it is about, all right, it's humbling. It's going to drop me to my knees, but it's about, how do I stay in my heart? My heart's got all these walls. It's got all these chains. It's got all these bruises. It feels so broken. How do I emerge like the snake that sheds the skin while staying in my heart? And it's a process, but anyone can if they choose. And it begins wherever one is at.
Is there a place that is kind of a general beginning that people, if listening? No, there's not. He's shaking his head. No.
Wherever you are is exactly, if somehow this is touching something in you where your heart goes, oh, I'm excited, but you're scaring the shit out of me too. Because oh God, if there's something going on there, boom. Because that's what I felt before I woke up to the Lifeline. I wasn't going to tell the story. That's what I felt. I had massive fear and faith colliding in the moment before I got downloaded with that. And there's an incredible download within you, just on the other side of what looks like to be the worst thing in the world is really the best thing. And, anyone can go to my website. I have different portals in the website of anxiety and depression and grief and trauma and physical pain and financial stress and different things like that. You can learn more on my website and see how it might be that you start. Some people are like, I'm going to start with sessions. Mm-hmm. Other people are like, I want to learn this for myself. And so whatever that is,
whatever they get pulled to, really, I guess, right?
Listen to the heart. It'll resonate on some level or not. And if it's not there at all, find something that does pull your heart, because that's the next best step.
Yeah. And I think too, it's the first step really is just this awareness that we're trying to bring to even the people that are listening to this, that there is this other part to your health that you're not possibly seeing or integrating in, right? That it's this huge missing piece. And if you've been struggling with your health and you've been struggling with your weight or chronic pain or anything, and you keep going to one doctor, to the next nutritionist, to the next whatever, that maybe it's time to start looking inside rather than outside yourself. I think that that's such an important thing for people to get. It's the hardest part in the sense that nobody wants to look at their shit. They'd rather take the pill. Right? Give me the supplement, give me the shot, give me whatever it is, give me the diet, give me the exercise. But in this stuff, it's not, it's hard to grasp, but start somewhere, go to his website. Like he said, go check it out. You've got lots to offer. Can you tell everybody what you do offer one-on-one, and you also offer group coaching as well? Did I see that? Or an online program?
Yeah. Well, myself, as well as other master practitioners, we work one-on-one with people, and then there's a whole certification program that people can start online, e-learning webinars, and also in-person courses that we do as well.
And you can do this with anybody because you do Skype as
Just
well
like
as
this, Zoom.
just like this Zoom. Yes. So I do all my sessions as well.
Yeah.
So Zoom sessions. And what is your website, Darren, so everybody can go find you?
Oh, it's the lifelincenter.com. So THELIFELINE Center, CENTER.com. And just take a look around, because there's a lot on there. We just actually launched a new website, and it will really guide you in a beautiful way. And if there's any questions, feel free to reach out.
And you got a couple books. Are your books about this technique yeah? Yep. And also I said earlier when I did the introduction, I found him because I watched a documentary film called Emotion, which I think everybody should watch.
Great movie, isn't it?
Oh, isn't it so? I loved it so much. I actually
job.
Joined Gaia.com just to go watch that. And then I actually ended up unsubscribing, but I really just wanted to watch that. And listening to you on there, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have this guy on my show. So thank you so much for being here, Darren. I really appreciate it.
It's so my pleasure. And thank you for doing all that you're doing to make a difference in the world. You're making a huge difference, Karen. Infinite love and gratitude.